And welcome to FemiDlive. I am FemiDlive. Don't worry, I'm not a basketballer. I'm actually terrible at basketball, but I admire the people who play basketball. Similarly to how I admire people who practice or partake in the game of politics. Politics is some sort of sport, and by the way, it's guided by what one would best describe as the game theory. Now in Nigeria in the last few days, I would say days because these days news breaks really fast and gets onto something very quickly and different very soon. It's been about defection, moving from one political party to the other. Like when I say I throw the ball at you, you grab it and it's your turn to move. Well, I wonder about what move would actually win the game. The game of basketball lasts for about 4 quarters, but then in politics, who is counting the quarters? I guess if there's number of quarters to be counted before we do get into election season, we have less than 3. 3 possible quarters before the Nigerian 2019 election. Yet there are defections everywhere. But that's not the catch. So with the defection, one of the things that would happen or that often happens is people get uncomfortable, people feel different, and people start to wonder about what their hopes, aspirations, and if there's convictions and values that goes with politicians. For example, you look at the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, who possible defection has been preempted for some time now. Eventually, he made the move. He made the move alongside with some of his loyalists and also people who were comfortable with the idea that it was time to let go of the party that brought them to the very position in politics that they are at the time, which would have to be the All Progressive Congress. But similarly, there are other people who are celebrating them joining the new party that they did join, the People's Democratic Party, a party which was taken out of power not long ago. That would have to be 2015. So with the defection done, and with threats of defection going on, with conversations in the night that sound like, don't worry, I'm just going to stay put. I am not going to score against the opponent. I'm not going to move party. Turning out really different. But then, daytime, daylight, I've seen some politicians move differently. I'm starting to wonder, if I were to pass the ball to you, would you take the basket on? Would you throw the ball in at that point in time when the conversation really do matters? Now, as some sort of reaction, as we would expect in politics, what happens next is impeachment. So, for example, in some states, the governors and deputy governors have been threatened with the very concept of impeachment. Just few days, if I would say, to the end of their tenure or the renewal of their tenure in the various offices they occupy at the time. But then with impeachment notice being served and unserved, and people who qualify to give the impeachment notice and those who don't qualify, and those who choose to, well, get rid of the word quorum before they do vote or care to vote, all playing out like a game of basketball over and over again, one is left with the very notice of defection and the possible impeachment. The days to come would see more governors possibly defecting, who knows where, to the left or to the right. It just depends on where your left and right is, whether for values or for the fact that they find some level of valor in what they do. But of good interest would be, will citizens of the country Nigeria have reasons to change? Will they also be defecting in their values that they are committed to in building the democracy that we have so much talked about for some time now? Think about your sacrifice for the last 18 years since the Fourth Republic came into play. Would you want to move, sway, or move around like a basketball if possibly the politicians are playing the citizens like a basketball? Are you in motion because the politicians are in motion? That's my question to you today. Impeachment and defection, are you moving as a citizen across board, or you're staying put? Just staying put enough to vote and to say this is where you belong. This is Nigeria. Thanks for listening in. Remember, you can always get this podcast on almost all the other popular platforms. Stitcher, Amplified Radio, TuneIn, so many of those platforms. FemiDlive is right there for you. Just listen or download by your choice. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook at FemiDlive. That's a good place to start. And yes, you see all the other messages I write in political analysis I put into every week, passing the ball one way or the other. And of course on YouTube as well, my channel works fine, so feel free to listen and subscribe. The subscription button is just below, just somewhere below, somewhere left or right now. Okay, don't play politics with that. Click on the subscription button and you get to know every time I put up something special and new. Now the ball is in your court. Till next time, where will you throw the ball?